5 questions to ask when designing a logo. As one of the first orders of business when launching your company, designing a logo is an important undertaking. Asking yourself these 5 questions that we're going to be going over before you start to design your logo will definitely help you get the most effective and meaningful logo. You've nailed down so many important aspects of this business or of your small business, such as defining your offerings, incorporating and drafting a business plan. And now it's time to craft the perfect company logo. While this is definitely a fun process, it's also one that needs serious effort. After all, your logo is your customer's first impression of your business. It may be a little image, but it leaves a big impact on your brand. Before you start sketching designs, really ask yourself these questions to ensure that you're on the right track. So, what does this business or your business stand for? If you're working for a client, what does this business that you're creating this logo for, what do they stand for? So, at one glance at this logo, it should convey to anyone what it is your business does, its mission, and its values. If you're not sure what your company stands for, what this company stands for, consider your brand's existing message and how to communicate it through an image. Is your business thoughtful or a bit playful, down to earth or elegant? Your logo displays your personality, so determine what yours is and which image will capture it. Number 2, have you researched other logos? This is a big, important key step in the design process as designers go forward into your design process steps. So when all is said and done, you'll need to register the trademark to ensure that you have the exclusive rights to use it. Until then, it's a good idea to research other logos and see what else is out there. Doing this allows you to see what other logos already exist and keeps you from creating anything that might appear to be similar. This will also allow you to align your logo mark, say with competitors, so that it doesn't look similar to your competitors, but it aligns with the same aspects if they are successful. So this will give you really good insight on what to go forward with or what to steer clear from. I'm going to go ahead and share my share a website here that I think is definitely helpful that you might want to check out. And it's from looka.com. And this is showing logo design inspirations, 25 resources to fuel your creativity. You can go ahead and bookmark this. This is a great resource. So basically, it kind of gives you a numbered websites that you can go to check out, to bookmark. So if you are creating a logo for somebody, this could be a great resource to use for inspiration. So one of them is Logoseum, and it's saying here that's an archive of colorful pictorial and abstract logos from past and present. So, you can see here just a little preview, but if you click on this link, it takes you right to the actual Instagram account of the Logoseum. And you can follow them, which is kind of interesting, so that you can see what, trends, logos that are created recently are to be inspired by. But definitely, if you see anything, marks that you're, wow, like these are very simple marks, you can be inspired by that. Number 2, you have logos.ai. Again, you can click on this link here and check out another Instagram account that you can follow. Some interesting stuff. This one looks like it shows more logo brand identity pieces as well, which is great to see and be inspired by, which you can actually click on and see more of. You have Logo Import, another Instagram account. Logo Place. Logo Place shares logos from artists around the web. The logo designs are created using Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and several other tools. Let's go ahead and click on that. Another Instagram page as well. So it's kind of neat to check this out and just see you know, what other people are doing. You can also see the trends that are going on, you know, whether it be more abstract shapes, more word marks, for example, for a certain brand and for a certain look. So I think this is 25 different resources. So definitely check this out. The link is just go to looka.com and you should be able to access this. And then, you know, kind of use this as a resource for your design processes as you go forward. Logo Design Love is a great website. I always use this in a lot of references and resources. You definitely should bookmark this webpage because it gives you a lot of resources in regards to logo design, not only logos to look at as inspiration, but it gives you a lot of standards and manuals, for example, that you can look at. So it's a little bit more than just a logo. It's actually talking about a lot of the different parts of a logo, like style guides, for example. Style guides are pretty much once a logo is created or redesigned, style guides are what companies can use to set parameters of how to use a logo. So here's all these different style guides here that, you know, kind of show how to use the logo, how not to use the logo, kind of the rules that you should adhere to. So definitely a great resource to check out. Okay, the next order of business is number 3. So here's, oh, I don't have number 3 here. Does your logo follow the 5 design principles is number 3. So the best logos tend to follow these 5 principles of design. Simple is definitely, definitely a harder challenge to create a simple logo because you want to do so with in mind, not keeping it too simple. So you really are walking that fine line of you want it to be simple yet memorable. You don't want it to be too simple where it's boring. So the design is clean, it's uncomplicated, and instantly gets the brand's message across. It's versatile. So what does this mean? You can see on this slide here, it's showing you 4 different brands. You have Coca-Cola. You can see where they kind of started at first on the left side. You have Chanel, you have Walt Disney, and Levi. Now, what's neat about this is you can actually see each of these marks' versatility. So if, for example, the logo on the very left cannot be applied to a certain application successfully, say maybe it's a smaller spot that it's going to be placed on, or maybe it's going to be engraved into either a different type of material like metal or glass, and it doesn't look right when it's a lot of information showing. So you kind of have to simplify it. So versatility is really key for your logo to be flexible enough to be kind of changed a little bit so that it can be flexible and versatile enough to be on other applications in other ways, even smaller and be readable, for example. So whether in black and white or in color, print, or on a smartphone app's avatar, for example, it's effective no matter where it gets placed or what color it is. If it's not, then it fails. So that's why it's important to test your logo out. Anytime that you finalize the design for your logo or logo redesign, it is important for you as a designer to test it out. If, you know, kind of do a 100% size and then scale it down 50% and then scale it down another, you know, 1/4%. Print it out. How does it look? Is there readability issues? Do you think there'll be any issues of actually viewing it? If there are, things need to be changed. So at that point, that's where you need to go and make those changes. So testing your logo out, making sure it's versatile is super important for a successful logo mark. Timeless. You want your logo to be timeless. So As time passes, will the logo still look good and keep customers coming back? So you want to make sure it's flexible enough so that 5-10 years down the road, it's not a whole complete redesign. Now, of course, everything changes in time. Everything evolves. So it's good that, you will have a kind of like a facelift of sorts for a logo as time goes on, but you want to keep that same look for the most part so that there's brand recognition, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will never change either. But you want to make sure that it's flexible enough to have similar elements to go forward with. Another principle is appropriateness. Does the logo make sense for the audience it is trying to reach? So, for example, does the typeface, does it make sense for the target audience in the brand? Or is it kind of opposite? Is it appropriate? Is it the right font for what it is? What about the color? Is it appropriate? The style, all of those different elements, are they working? Are they appropriate? Is it actually is it representing the brand and talking to the target audience visually in a way that it's appropriate? So those are the things to consider whenever you're designing or redesigning a logo. Last but not least, you have memorable. So this is kind of the fine line of simple and memorable. Remember, we were talking about being simple. Do you want to make sure that your logo is simple, but you also want it to be memorable. So you don't want it to be too simple to the fact where it's just kind of overlooked and not memorable. So memorable. So think about McDonald's, for example. It's golden arches. Everyone should immediately recognize it. Now, this is something that comes in time too. So when you're doing, say, a brand that's maybe not as recognizable at first, a startup company, it'll take time for this company to use an icon only for their business, for their brand, and for it to be recognizable, because it has to kind of be established and known. Brand recognition needs to be set. So sometimes it takes a little while for that to happen, but that's kind of where all brands are trying to go to, is where one symbol represents a company without actually having their name attached. So think about all those different companies out there today, like Target, Starbucks. They pretty much are at the time of their brand recognition where they're taking their name out of their logo. They're being represented by one mark, no name. Apple is another one. And that's instantly recognizable universally around the world as well. So that's pretty powerful when that happens. Okay, so what are your color schemes and typography options? So this is going back to our 5 questions to ask when designing a logo. So what are your color scheme and typography options? For as much as you may want to use all of the colors of the rainbow and font sizes in your logo, it's a much better idea to focus on consistency and simplicity so you don't overwhelm your audience. There's studies out there as far as color theory goes. There's studies on different colors and how they make people feel. So study the science and emotions behind colors to determine which ones you'll include in your logo. Many restaurants tend to use reds and yellows in their brand messaging because these have been proven to make people hungry. On the other hand, blue is considered to be more relaxing, tranquil shade. Pink is used to convey a flirty tone, and green is associated with growth. Your typography should be easy to read and timeless in both font size and style as well. And number 5, will you need to hire, maybe an additional designer possibly to help? So once you have your sketched ideas out and you have an understanding of the type of logo you want, you may want to create it, with other resources, or you might want to, you know, kind of even have somebody to be a soundboard off if you want to kind of get second opinions from other designers or a creative team. So, you know, something like that will be a part of the process and something to think about whenever you're designing a logo, redesigning a logo. So whatever route that you choose to make sure that, you know, if you're working in a team, that they are aware of what's going on and support the direction that the logo is taking. So you may not be the sole designer, you know, for this, but, you know, you want to make sure everybody is pretty much on the same team.